Tier 3 to a Super Regional, and Clemson now eyes on the Women's College World Series. For South Florida, they'll go to their newest ace in the circle. That's Peyton Dixon, a team trying to replace Georgina Cork, and Peyton Dixon's been a good answer so far for the Bulls. Since that opener against Michigan where she stepped in and spun 6 innings that were fantastic for South Florida. 4 hits, 1 run, it was unearned, walked 2 and struck out 6 against the Wolverines. Already has a complete game shutout under her belt. The freshman struggled her last 2 appearances, but trying to get back on track today against the number 5 team in the land. You can expect a rise, a change, a screw, and a backdoor curve from the redshirt freshman. There's Ken Erickson, the longtime head coach of South Florida, former head coach of Team USA, now full-time with this South Florida program. And when talking to him the other day about what South Florida needed to do to beat Clemson, they said you got to be flawless against a team like this. They can't afford to have any mistakes, and it'll be a good test for his team this early in the season. John Rittman spent some time with Ken Erickson on Team USA, so they're two that are quite familiar with each other. Coach did a couple of stints with the women's national team from 2001 to 2008 and 2016 to 2018. Now in his 4th season, was extended after this past season when they got to the Super Regionals over in Stillwater and fell to Oklahoma State. He has been extended through 2027. Been a good first 5 for him. Now looking forward to the next 5 over in South Carolina, Clemson. As we said, Mackenzie Clark will lead off, hitting only .500, 14 for 28 this year, 5 homers, 9 RBI. Underway, run on time, and it's a strike to the outside corner from Dixon. It's a Clemson group off to an 11-0 start this season. Finished 42-17 a year ago. Mackenzie Clark, a big reason why. 1-1. Clark coming off a game against Georgia, had her 5th home run of the season. She has been bringing a lot of leadoff power for this Clemson group. Has hit a home run to lead off on 4 occasions to open Clemson's scoring in the first inning. The everyday center fielder for the Tigers, now ahead 2-1. This is her 123rd career start today. Mackenzie Clark staring down Peyton Dixon. She has started every game she has appeared in her career. 123 of 123. 2-1. That is sent in the air to center field. Leistel is over, and she's got it. And there's the first out of the inning. A big first out for South Florida. This is the defensive alignment for the Bulls. Eigenman doing the catching for Peyton Dixon, so newcomers across the battery. Eigenman transferring into this program. Morocco tribal piece, Piero and Castro third to first. Hanlon Leistel and Megan Sheehan, one of the veterans, out in right field for South Florida. Slight pause in play as a stray softball found its way onto the field. Maddie Moore will take some cuts. Already 1 out in the frame. That dips in for a called strike 1. Maddie Moore, 367 average through 11 games. 6 extra base hits, 3 doubles, and 3 home runs. She's knocked in 10. Has reached in all but 1 game so far. Upstairs, 1-1. Sophomore to Loomis, California, stands in a 5'7" infielder. Wipes through the 1-1. A chance for Peyton Dixon to get the second out of this inning. Getting out of the first is a big deal for opponents against Clemson. The Tigers have outscored their opponents 22-4 in the first inning this year. 1-2. Outside, 2-2. 2-strike pitch from Dixon. High and tight, counts full. Ken Erickson said that this staff is going to be, it's a major league approach this year in the AC era, as he dubbed it, after Cork. Payoff. Just missed off the outer edge of the plate, and a walk is issued by Peyton Dixon. So a 1-out base runner for Clemson, and here is Valerie Cagle. Valerie Cagle, Virginia native originally, a junior. First pitch ambush in the air, deep to left field, back to the track, to the wall, and it leaves the yard. It only took one swing for Cagle, and she's got Clemson a 2-0 lead. Career home run number 47 for Valerie Cagle. A deep fly ball down the left field line, attacks a pitch on the outer part of the plate, and Hanlon couldn't do anything besides watch it sail over the fence. Got the full 190, and Clemson's got themselves a 2-run lead early. Way low and outside from Dixon. And this is the biggest challenge for a young pitcher in this moment is how do you have a short memory here and forget that big bomb you give up to one of the best two-way players in the country? Two-time All-American leaves the yard, and Clemson's got the early lead in Tampa. Caroline Jacobson in the 4 spot for the Tigers, comes to this program from Duke, originally from Tallahassee, so safe to say she's familiar with the ACC. Comes in on an 8-game on-base streak, went .411 on her average a week ago, 7 for 17. Had a home run, 7 RBI over the course of last week. And she has been an instant impact grad transfer for Clemson. Tiger team that brings back 17 letter winners from last year. Enfield is way back on Caroline Jacobson. 3-0. Dixon finds the zone, 3-1. Outside for ball 4. Set the Duke single season record for walks back in 2021, and she's got a base on balls here. Second walk of the inning issued by Peyton Dixon. And Ken Erickson's going to come take a stroll out to the circle. Imagine wants to just settle Peyton Dixon down a little bit. Got a fly out to center field to start from Mackenzie Clark. Then a walk by Maddie Moore and a first pitch ambush by Valerie Cagle. Or one swing ambush, should say. Had the 2-run shot. Clemson has had 3 reach in this inning. John Rittman's group has gotten off to a red-hot start. Meeting adjourned. Peyton Dixon will step back to the circle. Well, we had touched on it that this Clemson team is electric early on in games. The offense overall has been staggering, but particularly in the first inning, they've been potent. Had a 5-run lead at the end of 1 frame against Georgia. This is Aaliyah Logaleo. Down 0-1. Logaleo, 267 average. Has 1 homer, 8 ribbies. Currently has a runner at first in Jacobson. Fly ball to right field, but playable for Megan Sheehan. A few steps in, she's got it. 2 down in the frame. Low and outside, runner takes off. The throw down to second, scoots away. Jacobson is going to third, and she's in safely. So a stolen base, and then on the throw gets all the way down to third. And in an instant, Clemson has the opportunity to extend their lead. You can see Eigenman puts it in a pretty good spot, but it's a little bit too far twisting away from Megan Piero. And that extra curve on the ball away from her lets it slip past her into the outfield. Eigenman, enough of a stop to keep Jacobson at third. So if you're just tuning in, a 2-run home run for Cagle, the 47th of her career. That's her 7th of this season. Ground ball to short. Tribal Piece has it and slings it to Castro at first to retire the side. In that frame, 2 runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left aboard. Then a 2-0 lead over South Florida. 2-run shot. Let's take a look at the Bulls lineup. Hanlon leading off. She's been red hot for South Florida as Thompson sends the first pitch. This is Millie Thompson, 2.52 ERA on this young year. A 3-0 record across 4 appearances, 16 2/3. Has walked 3, struck out 11. Outside on Hanlon, 2-0. The South Florida order has struggled to this point in the year. There's no 2 ways around it. Right now they're sitting last on their slash line across the league. 190, 239 slugging, 260 OBP. Just a little bit away, ball 3. And was talking with Megan Piero, the everyday second baseman for the Bulls yesterday, and she had said that the approach this week in trying to boost those numbers back up was trying to simplify everything. They felt that worked yesterday against FGCU. Hanlon takes a strike on 3-0. So taking on Millie Thompson, part of this 1-2 punch for the Tigers, alongside Cagle. They'll need some offense to keep up with Clemson today. Chop ball to the right side of the infield, more to Cagle 4-3, and Hanlon is quickly retired. Millie Thompson, all ACC a season ago, was 3rd team. Had 2 no-hitters against Furman and Kent State. Tribal Piece takes a step and a strike, nothing in 1 on her. Millie Thompson making her 38th career start today. Marissa Tribal Piece transferring into this program from Michigan State. Cuts through it, strike 2. She'll see her former team this weekend. UIC, Michigan State, Tennessee, the other participants at the USF Invitational. 0-2. Waste pitch outside, ball and 2 strikes. Left on left matchup, 1-2. And pours in for strike 3. The first strikeout of the day for Millie Thompson. Just locks up Tribal Piece here on a pitch that had some great bend on it towards the zone. That ball movement was simply sensational for Millie Thompson out of Bedford, Virginia originally. Coach said of Millie Thompson, you're going to see up, down, in and out change. A lot of these pitchers have a similar MO, but they all complement each other in different ways based on what's working for them that day. That was good movement to the outside corner. Now it's Megan Sheehan's turn. 2 up and 2 down for the Bulls in the home first. Sheehan slaps it out to second, and another 4-3 to retire the side. So a case sandwich between the two groundouts. Bulls go down in the first inning this year. Now 24-4 with the 2 runs in this game across the first 2 innings. Coming into this matchup with South Florida, 34-4. I mean, you go down the national rankings and Clemson is dominant all over. JoJo Hyatt leads off, bottom of the order for Clemson in the top of the second. Good frame up for a strike by Eigenman, 1-1. I mean, just look at the numbers on the slash line. Clemson is hitting 408, 729 slugging, 483 OBP. All 3 of those are second in Division I. All 3 are only behind Florida, who's currently 1 rank above the Tigers. Soft grounder to second, Piero to Castro. And Hyatt is sent back hitless, 1 out in the inning. Ali Miklish comes to the plate to face Peyton Dixon. So still no leadoff base runners for Clemson yet, but that hasn't stopped them from grabbing a 2-0 lead thanks to a Cagle home run. We were talking with Coach Rittman the other day and asked him about the staggering numbers offensively so far. He said he's been pleased with how they're swinging the bat, but he pointed to the patience of this group, and their pitch selection were the 2 first things he gestured towards. And fortunate to hit the long balls, but knowing the kind of team they were coming to play today, they also want to see that they can move runners and hit situationally as well. Already took down some notable opponents, including Northwestern, a Women's College World Series team from a year ago. They beat them twice, beat Ohio State out of the Big Ten, and fresh off of a 7-1 win against Georgia. Miklish this year, 375 average. Has left the yard once, knocked in 4. Two one is bunted into the perfect spot. Barehand throw, skips out of the glove of Piero. Sheehan recovers, but a desperation heave by Morocco is offline, and Miklish is safe at first. Miklish puts a good charge into this one, bunts it third base side, and Morocco just way too high and offline to Megan Piero, the second baseman, coming to cover first. This is a very young South Florida team. Julia Morocco, only a sophomore and seeing some more significant time this year. This is her 8th career start, and taking your time in those high-pressure moments can be paramount. Only the second hit for Clemson. They've got a runner on with 1 out for Reedy Davenport. Takes off, throw down to second. Again, just slips away from Tribal Piece. Going to go for third. Tag, not in time. South Florida fans in disbelief. They thought they had Miklish dead to rights. So she steals second and then on her way to third, just gets in time. Well, it deflected off her chest, and this is a really aggressive play by Miklish. And Morocco thought she had it. Soaring ball to right field. Sheehan's got it. Runner tags Miklish coming home. Not nearly in time. Eigenman applies the tag. More aggressive baselunning from Miklish, and it doesn't pay off. Florida, after the Bulls turn their 3rd double play of the season, 9-2 on the out. Vivian Pond sitting in the DP spot these days for South Florida, after mostly serving as a relief pitcher. Ground out to short for Vivian Pond to start her day. And 4 straight outs to begin Millie Thompson's evening. 3 ground outs and 1 strikeout for Thompson. Lydia Castro comes up, the first baseman for the Bulls, also does catching. She has the only home run for South Florida this year. Misses upstairs, 1-0. Had her first career home run, or first home run of the season, I should say, against St. Joseph's, was the second of her career. Grounder up to third. Davenport getting into the action. This is a 5-3 ground out. So, of the first 5 outs, every infielder has gotten involved. 2 ground outs to second, 1 to short, now 1 to third. 2 sent, 2 down for South Florida. One of the veterans, Megan Piero. We mentioned that this offense trying to just simplify things a little bit at the plate, not looking to do too much. Megan Piero's had a little bit of an up and down start to her season. Had a multi-hit game against Michigan. But then came back in game 1 of the doubleheader against Florida Gulf Coast yesterday after an 0 for 12 skid with her second, including her second triple of the year. So 2 multi-hit games and now a pair of triples for number 26. Piero patiently takes ball 3. Seen this happen with Thompson a couple of times where she's gotten behind. But so far hasn't been a problem. Has struck out 1, retired 5. Finds the zone, 3-1. Closing in on 200 career strikeouts. Including the one today, she's up to 192. Tips in for strike 2. She has been really effective at hitting her spots in her time at Clemson. Last year led the ACC in strikeout to walk ratio, 611. That was 18th best in the country. Payoff. Piero soft liner to second. Moore barely has to budge. And it's another 1-2-3 inning for the Deca City. It's been the everyday center fielder for the Tigers over the last couple of years. She's been getting some serious power in that bat lately. Has 8 extra base hits this year, 5 of which have come in the past 6 games. Has homered in 3 of her last 5. She's got top 5 home run numbers nationally. Already 5 of them, as we mentioned this year. Heavy hack and a miss, 2-2. For Peyton Dixon, when you're facing an order this good, you have to keep hitters off balance. And like Coach Erickson said, you have to be flawless because that one mistake you make, that'll be the difference. Just misses the 3rd strike call. Instead, it's full. And a lot of former pitchers will tell you that every pitcher, once per at-bat, is going to make one miscue. And it's whether or not that comes back to bite you. That can be the difference between a long ball or something like a ground out. Payoff is sent skyward and out of play. A Valerie Cagle home run is the difference. Top of the 3rd. We'll see her again in this frame. Clark, Moore, and Cagle all scheduled to appear. First ever meeting between the Tigers and the Bulls today. Low and outside, ball 4. Another walk issued by Dixon. That's the 3rd she's issued. Early turbulence for Peyton Dixon in the circle. She has been tested mightily in her first season. This South Florida staff, in the after Cork era, as Coach Erickson called it. I mentioned this earlier, but Peyton Dixon, her last 2 appearances, 5 innings, 10 hits, 6 runs, 7 walks, only 5 strikeouts. Finds the zone here on the righty. That's Maddie Moore. Got on base, then was knocked in, was one of the 2 runs on that home run. Falls behind 0-2. She got the first start of the season, Peyton Dixon did, against Michigan. Asked Coach Erickson how he decided he was going to execute the rotation this year in the circle. He shrugged and said, "I'm not lying to you. Put 6 numbers in a hat, pulled it out, and number 6 was the one that he drew." Upstairs, a ball and 2 strikes, and, well, it was a fortunate pull the number by Ken Erickson. Goes with Dixon. She spins a gem against the Wolverines. They win that one 2-1. Has excelled in her second year in the program. She redshirted last year. 1-2 in the air to right field. Hit pretty well. Back to the track, and on a back pedal, Sheehan's got it. We say hello again to Valerie Cagle. Comes up into a similar spot, 1 out, 1 on, and this is what she did with it last time. Dixon left something on the high outside corner, and she goes Oppo Taco. And Clemson got a 2-0 lead back in the first, looking for some deja vu in the third. And the 2-time All-American stands in for ball 1. D1Softballs.com's preseason player of the year. She is one of the best in the country. 150 starts as a Clemson Tiger. Almost wasn't a part of this program. 1-0, snaps tight 2-0. She was initially committed to Delaware. But because of a coaching change in the Delaware program, she reopened her recruitment and had some connections to this Clemson program. Her travel ball coach called one of the assistants at Clemson. Deep fly ball to left, and Hanlon, scaling the fences, has got it. Just to finish that thought, Coach Rittman in an interview with The Athletic had said, "Once I saw the swing of the bat, I knew Valerie was going to be a special kind of player, and she nearly leaves the park for the second time tonight, but a good grab at the wall by Emily Hanlon." Two flyouts in the inning result in 2 outs. Caroline Jacobson with a runner on and 2 gone. Left on right. First pitch swinging out to short. Trival Piece has trouble with it, loses the softball, and Jacobson is safe at first. More than likely will be South Florida's second error of the game. Well, this ball goes to the exact wrong spot to where Trival Piece just loses it. Bulls had an error on Eigenman earlier in the game that let Miklish advance to third. On an attempted throw down to second, it is ruled as the second error today for South Florida. Logaleo flew out to right her last time to the plate. The Tigers have a little 2-out magic in their bones. Two-1, couldn't frame it. Good at bat by Logaleo. 2-time All-ACC selection, was also on the All-Tournament team a year ago, and Ken Erickson will take another trip to the circle. As a redshirt freshman, some control issues in her start today against number 5 Clemson. This is a very young staff. Gabriella Nori started yesterday against Florida Gulf Coast, went the full 7. She is the lone veteran on this staff. There are 3 freshmen that Ken Erickson and this group are really excited about. Peyton Dixon is one of them. She is a redshirt freshman, but is still part of a very young staff. Morgan Grubb and Jaden Martinez are the other 2. Martinez started yesterday against FGCU. In the second game, Morgan Grubb, a freshman out of Bartow, she's in the Bartow Softball Hall of Fame, is the other one. And there's a lot of confidence that this team can go into the future with a really strong rotation of pitchers. And that's been the thing about South Florida over the years, is that they've had to replace plenty of legendary pitchers. Think of Sarah Nevins, Monica Triner, some of the great names in this program. There is Gabrielle Honori. And now Georgina Cork would expect one day you'll see a 22 out on the batting facility, another retired number. Payoff pitch. Ground ball slapped out to short. Long throw in time to get her. In the frame, no runs, no hits, 1 error and 2 left. Millie Thompson's back in the circle for Clemson. Tigers' eyes on the building over these last couple of years, getting to their first Women's College World Series, taking on a South Florida tournament team from a year ago. Bottom of the order scheduled, Eigenman, Morocco, and Leistel in this inning. Ryan Eigenman, a transfer into this program, comes from Central Connecticut State University. Inside 1-1. You would imagine would be a bit warmer in Florida, and she agrees. Said they routinely would play in the 20s, or once snowed in until their first game. Indoor practices were routine up there, as it is for most teams in that part of the country. That skips away 2-1. She's speedy if she gets on. She led the team back in 2021 in stolen bases as a catcher. Into the portal back in 2022, and now a South Florida Bull. Eigenman swings through it, evens the count. She also set the single season and career records for stolen bases in high school. Ground ball through the left side. It's a base hit for Eigenman. So the 7th-spot hitter gets South Florida their first hit of the ball game. It's a leadoff base knock in the 3rd. She smokes this ball left on the inside part of the plate, pulls it through that 5-6 hole. Eigenman getting the job done past Logaleo. Made a good stab at it, but Eigenman now a threat to steal for South Florida, as we alluded to. Julia Morocco up. Waves to the first one. That is the philosophy of Ken Erickson's teams. Get them on, get them over, get them in. They play small ball with the best of them. Down only by 2 to the number 5 team in the country. So Morocco in this moment represents a potential tying run. There goes Eigenman. The throw is not in time. Eigenman beneath the tag, and she steals second. First stolen base is a South Florida Bowl for Ryan Eigenman. Gets a great jump, and that throw into a pretty good spot, but not good enough for Logaleo to apply the tag. John Ritton getting his 2 cents in. Infield confers for a moment. Now with a potential run out in scoring position. Julia Morocco hitless this year, 0 for 15 start to 2023. Reaches for the 0-1, now down 0-2. Off speed, got her. Julian Morocco way out in front of that one. Pulls the string, and Morocco, a good beat in front of it. Second strikeout for Millie Thompson. One backwards facing, now one front facing K. And that's a good first out for Clemson with a runner in scoring position. So Morocco remains hitless, and now it's Bailey Leistel. First pitch, Bailey Leistel rolls it. As a fair ball, and the tag is applied for the out. Are they going to say it's foul? Now, home plate umpire, Marjorie Abestian. He said it was foul. The first base umpire, Shane Jackson, said this was fair. That is close, and it's a foul ball. So that is not an out on the board. Bailey Leistel will get another turn at it. Reaches for the 0-1, taps it to the same spot. This one is more firmly a foul. Bailey Leistel on the year. 1 hit, 6 at-bats from Valrico. That's not but 15, 20 minutes east of here. Southeast, to be more specific. Her sister Brooke also played at South Florida. 0-2. Outside corner, strike 3. The second looking K for Thompson, her third overall. The second bull down on strikes in the frame. Well, they need Emily Hanlon to step up in this moment. A runner at second after the first hit of the day for the Bulls. Foul ball off home plate. Hanlon's numbers through the first 8 games outstanding. 471, pair of doubles, 3 stolen bases. She has been lighting it up for the Bulls. Slow roller up at first. Going to be tight, can't get there. Can't do it much better than that. Emily Hanlon scaling the first baseline, goes right past the ball and is in safely at first. I mean, that's just into no man's land. Millie Thompson has to go vacuum it up. It's her responsibility, but that is tough as a pitcher to try and turn that into an awkward throw at first, so just sits on it. Tying run on base and at least a potential run at third. And Trival Piece up for the Bulls. Only a 105 average so far for Trival Piece. She does have a double. 2 strikeouts in the frame, and a bunt single up the first base line for Emily Hanlon. Trival Piece drives on the ground. Great stop at second, and the short shovel for the final out of the inning. Dazzling defense by Clemson. And South Florida leaves 2. Moore makes a diving stop and a little flip to Logaleo. Or dives to it, Logaleo with the squeeze. And Clemson escapes, still protecting the shutout. Long hopper to second, tight throw at first is in time. Piero de Castro, and there's quickly one away as Vieira's retired to begin the 4th inning. So a quick trip for her, it's JoJo Hyatt. Make defensive plays like that. That's why you're the number 5 team in the country. We've talked so much about Clemson offensively, but the defense has been stellar as well. Held number 17 Georgia to a single run the other day. Hyatt's a Georgia native. Had her third career triple against the Dogs the other day. Also knocked into. She's been one of the big RBI producers for Clemson so far. And that dips down for a strike, evens the count. JoJo Hyatt was red hot on opening weekend. She's hitless tonight. Earned one of the top performance accolades from NFCA. Started 3 of the first 4 games in opening weekend. And the numbers were just ridiculous. 7 of 9, 8 RBI, 2 doubles. This Clemson team is good. And they've gotten better every year. You sometimes forget that this program is not very old. Played their first season of softball in 2020. 1-2 soft liner past Peyton Dixon and into center field. Another 1-out base hit for Clemson. Well, this is how Clemson has gotten the job done tonight. We've seen a 1-out home run. Seen a 1-out single from Miklish, who will come back to the plate and follow JoJo Hyatt, who has a 1-out single of her own. Pinch runner coming into the game.
Good job, Joe.
Julia Baumhart. Baumhart's been pretty good at base stealing, 4 of 5 stealing bases so far this year. First pitch to Miklish. Waves through it, and the slapper takes strike 2. Came to this program from Wisconsin after last season. Badgers lost in the Gainesville Regional. She made a huge leap from her junior year to last year at Wisconsin. Finished as a second-team All-Big Ten selection. 2-strike pitch from Dixon. Waves through it for strike 3. The first strikeout for Peyton Dixon. So she's got a K on the board, and South Florida puts 2 outs away. Great job by Peyton Dixon, just finding her spots. As a pitcher, sometimes it just takes you a little bit to get comfortable. Peyton Dixon, after some early turbulence, still has only relented the 2-run shot in the first. Baumhart takes off, the throw down to the bag, in time from Eigenman. More aggressive base running for the Tigers, and once again, South Florida preseason favorites. Wichita State only 1 vote behind him. And South Florida, you see, 3rd in this league. UCF and Wichita State bringing a lot back. They've got questions in the circle this year, trying to answer. UCF trying to bounce back after a loss to Stetson the other night. Wichita State has got their 2 big boppers back from last year. They'll meet late in the year. That one could be a turning point in the regular season crown chase. But this South Florida team, and Coach Rittman for Clemson said as much, that they've been consistently top 3 in this league and consistent faces in the tournament year in and year out. Megan Sheehan's seen plenty of those appearances. Back for another year for South Florida, one of the better swingers. Ball 3. So Thompson has fallen behind 3-0 several times in this game. She has walked nobody. Red light for Sheehan, and it's strike 1. Sheehan swings into it. Bit of an awkward pickup for Moore, but she grabs into the shoelaces. And a ground out to the 4th spot for Megan Sheehan. So a repeat of her trip to the plate in the first. You can see it's a good job to handle it at the knees by Moore. And that's the easy out at first. Down in the order, Vivian Pond. Quarter swing at it, strike anyway, 0-1. Well, Vivian Pond made that switch we talked about from being a bullpen pitcher to the everyday DP role, often in the cleanup spot for the Bulls. Pond gets into it, high fly ball into foul ground, and that's out to the bullpen, ironically. She said she had been working with coaches in practice on getting her eyes right, but when it finally clicked, a big part of it was the mental side too, as a hitter. Things beyond mechanics is what she said. 0-2. Cuts through it for strike 3. 4 Ks for Thompson, and it puts 2 away in the frame. When you have somebody with as big of a swing as Vivian Pond, sometimes you have to take the strikeouts with the good. Pond strikes out. She's 0 for 2, and Lydia Castro will take her turn. One of the other fresher faces, off-speed pitch, 0-1. For Millie Thompson, now a junior, heading into the upper class side of her career. It's down to the dirt, 1-1. We touched on it before, part of a 1-2 punch for this Clemson team along with Cagle. And you ask people in this sport, what are the kind of teams that make it to the Women's College World Series? Well, you have to have a couple of things. You have to play good defense, but you also need to have not just great pitchers, but a good staff. And it really feels like Clemson has that this year. 2-1 is weakly grounded to short, and the throw is in time. Another 1-2-3 inning for the Clemson defense. South Florida still just 1 hit against the Tigers tonight, and they're up by a pair of runs through 4. Now the expanded depth of this league, it's not just Florida State, Clemson, or Florida State, Notre Dame, and the usual faces. Roller up the third base line, Morocco to first, and Castro's got it 5-3, first out of the inning. Quick trip for Reedy Davenport, turns back over, but Virginia Tech and Florida State, kind of the blue bloods of the ACC. Notre Dame also a regular face at the highest level, but now you add Duke and Clemson to the mix, and the ACC is only getting more and more formidable. It is a legit conference when you talk about some of the toughest slates in college softball. Clark on the first offering hits it off home. Clark tonight a fly out to center and a walk. But it is not going to be an easy road for Clemson once they head into ACC play. They'll open ACC play with Syracuse on March 3rd. But that road gets steeper and steeper as the season goes along. Florida State in April, Virginia Tech at the end of the year. They do not draw Duke in the regular season. But those are 2 very tough programs to tangle with. This Clemson team's got the bats to do it. They've got the pitching. They've been a trendy Women's College World Series pick this year as Peyton Dixon just misses outside. And this is kind of to put a bow on the point from earlier that the teams that make it to the Women's College World Series, sure, you can have the dominating offense like in Oklahoma, but if you have that staff of multiple pitchers, that'll get you there. South Florida's got a pretty good pitcher in Peyton Dixon. That's her second strikeout. That's a big K against the top of the Clemson order. Maddie Moore will take some cuts. Reined up strike 1. difficult to be perfect as a pitcher, but when you've got options as a coach in a situation, that makes you that much more resilient. 0-1 is sent past Piero and into right center field, all the way to the track. Matty Moore will stop up at first, settle for the single. Clemson grabs another hit here with 2 outs. Clemson's 4th hit of the ball game. Tigers have knocked him in efficiently. They've got 3 players who are amongst the leaders, not just in the ACC, but nationally in RBI. Cagle's got 15 with the home run earlier in the game. And then Hyatt and Jacobson came in tied for the team lead at 13 apiece. Ken Erickson wants a word with Peyton Dixon. Maybe some encouragement, try to help her get out of this inning. But I mean, Clemson just efficient through and through at this point of the year. A lot of excitement around what Peyton Dixon can do for this program. South Florida's had a long list of outstanding pitchers across this program's history. Ken Erickson always seems to find another. And that meeting right, of course, before Valerie Cagle. Home run in the first, deep fly out in the third, and comes up again with a runner at first, but now there's 2 outs in the inning. Upstairs, 2-0. Would be understandable that you don't want to throw anything too hittable to Valerie Cagle. Cagle stands in for a strike. Into the shoulders, 3-1. A couple of years ago, made the U18 Junior Women's National Team, and she really took this sport by storm over the last couple of years. In 2021, she wasn't just the ACC Player of the Year, she was also the Freshman of the Year. That's the first time that it ever happened in ACC history. Grounder through the right side, and the second hit of the day for Cagle. And the throw skips away, and Moore will come in to score. Clemson tags on a run on a defensive miscue for South Florida. More than likely the Bulls' 4th error of the ball game. This is slicing right past Lydia Castro and Sheehan, trying to make the long throw to third, and that's way off line where Hanlon has to come and grab it. And more aggressive base running from Clemson. And this time it pays off as Matty Moore goes from first to third and then home on the throwing error. Single for Cagle. It's a multi-hit game for her. Still need just one more out. Now facing that Duke transfer, Caroline Jacobson. Walk reached on an error tonight. This will be pitch number 80 for Dixon. Jacobson sends it into the night sky towards right center. Leistol's got it, and that retires the side. But an error for the Bulls brings in another run for Clemson. They're up by 3 through 4.5. 1997. That is great work by Greg Harvey and Joey Knight. A couple different media outlets who confirmed that, and South Florida was able to affirm it as well. Boy, what a day for USF yesterday. In men's basketball, they beat UCF in what could be the final meeting of the war on I-4 as the Knights are off to the Big 12. First pitch to Piero is fouled away. Baseball, after dropping a game to the Gators on Tuesday, went into Gainesville down 8-3 in the ninth. They rally and win 10-9 over Florida. Women's basketball won the regular season crown already, got a win over Tulsa, and then softball swept the doubleheader yesterday. Piero tries to bunt, and it's foul into the opposing box. It'll leave 0-2. Well, USF trying to add on to the good times, but miscues tonight have been the issue. Three errors for South Florida in this game. Piero stares down, strike three on the outside corner. The third looking K for Thompson. She's got 5 overall tonight. Slips that to the high outside corner, painting those edges. That's the art as a pitcher, is placing it right onto the edge of the strike zone. You can hit your spots as that first one gets away, and Thompson points to her chest and tells her catcher, "That's on me." First game of the USF Invitational today. Tennessee, Michigan State, UIC, the other teams. Curves in for a strike, 1-1. Thompson's been efficient today. You see her pitch count's only at 55. Eigenman has the only hit against her. So far, pitching a shutout and a one-hitter, or a two-hitter, excuse me. There was a bunt single by Hanlon back in the third. So a two-hitter in the shutout. 2-2. Ken Erickson, his group playing 38 games in the state of Florida to start the year. 2-2 is grounded pretty hard to short. It's a long throw, but it's in time. 6-3 on the out. 34 of those games will be at home for the Bulls. This is the third game into a 28-game homestand for South Florida. And the advantage of being in Florida is that you often don't have to leave the state. As Eigenman made a pretty good run at it, but the throw well in time to get her for the second out of the inning. Brings in Morocco out in front of the first pitch, down a strike. And the benefit of that is you can get teams like Michigan, Tennessee, Clemson, Florida into this ballpark. And you don't have to go on the road. Compared to, you think of teams like Michigan, is Morocco off balance on these pitches from Thompson again, down 0-2. And you can get good RPI games if you're USF. Only took 3 pitches to dispatch Julia Morocco. Another strikeout for Thompson, 2 in the inning. She's got 6 today, and Clemson's got a shutout going through 5. Bulls will try to get some runs. In the 6th, it'll be Clemson to the plate when we come back in the away half. As we go to the away 6, Logaleo leads off. 5, 6, and 7 in the Clemson order. First offering is in the dirt for ball 1. One-0 is sky to the air to center field. Leistel at the wall, and it's out of the park. Second home run of the ball game for the Tigers. This time it's Logaleo. Make it 4-0 Clemson. Logaleo got a big hold of this one. Just enough to leave the yard. Leistel had to watch it skip out. She's fired up, touching home for the Tigers. So a leadoff solo shot for Logaleo extends the Clemson lead to 4. Vieira stands in for a strike, 0-1. Abby Vieira hitless. For Logaleo, just her second home run of this young season. Logaleo's power numbers have gotten better every year she's been at Clemson. It's 1-2 now on Vieira. She's really become a power hitter. You saw it there. She didn't have any home runs in that shortened 2020 season, but then in 2021, put up 8, knocked in 32. This one's hit pretty well to right field, but it'll die in playable fashion to Sheehan. F9 puts the first down on the board. But then she more than doubled her home run production, did Logaleo. Led the team in homers and also drove across 46 runs. 7 home runs, by the way, came in ACC games. JoJo Hyatt, 1 hit today. She was pitch ran for, and Baumhart was caught going to second. Outer half strike, 0-1. For Peyton Dixon, starting pitcher for South Florida. This is 88 pitches tonight, and that misses outside for a ball. She's had 51 strikes. Compare that to Clemson. They've only had 61 pitches. 42 of those have been strikes. So right at about 66% at the strike rate for Clemson. That caught the handle of the bat and moves it 1-2. John Rittman and his group looking to get to Oklahoma City this year. That is the goal for a program that is winning fast. Ball in the dirt and scoots away from Eigenman. This Clemson team, when you look at the lore across Clemson athletics, they were the second fastest program to reach 100 wins. The only one faster than them was women's tennis back in the 80s. That got to 100 wins faster. 2-2. Sharply hit foul. Coach Rittman said having a core group that's been here since day one, that's played a big part. They've also been able to utilize the portal to get Clemson amongst some of the elites in college softball very quickly. And their goal was never to use the newness or the beginning of this program as an excuse, but to motivate them to go make some history, and they've done that so far. Gave a lot of credit to the rest of his staff, coaching and support staff, and feels that each year they've gotten better. His resume was outstanding coming into this job. Longtime head coach of Stanford, 18 years, made 16 NCAA tournaments, a pair of Women's College World Series in the early 2000s. Counts full here, 3-2 on JoJo Hyatt. 116 wins in his time already at Clemson. Just north of 850 for his entire career. Him and Ken Erickson have known each other for a while, spent some time together on Team USA for the women's national team. John Rittman did stints from 2001 to 2008, and then came back again in 2016 for a couple of years. And give credit to Ken Erickson's group tonight. This is a team that blistered Georgia with 5 runs in the first on Tuesday. Won that game 7-1. South Florida has not been a run rule victim so far tonight. They've hung right with Clemson, despite a 2-run home run in the first. Slow grounder to second. It's the vet Piero on to first. 4-3. 2 home runs today for the Tigers. You expect some of the power hitting numbers. Well, the big question for South Florida is not the pitching and defense necessarily, despite 3 errors tonight. But they have to get enough run production for that pitching and defense to get the victories necessary. And speaking of that pitching, Ken Erickson is top of the sixth. Lexi Kopko will come into the game. Will face Miklish, a lefty from Clemson. Lexi Kopko in her junior season steps into this game with an ERA on the young year of 5.68. Only 6 1/3 innings pitched, has given up 4 runs, all of them earned, walked 8, struck out 2. Pop up in the infield and playable. Garcia Soto has got it. And that's the final out of the inning. So she checks in at third and makes the play to retire the side. Kopko gets the final out for South Florida on the pop up to Garcia Soto. And for South Florida, they'll be back tomorrow against Tennessee, Michigan State, UIC, and then next week, Kansas, Rhode Island on the horizon. Bailey Leistel leading off, skips it to short, and the throw gets away from first. Couldn't dig it out, and Bailey Leistel is safe. She turns the order over for South Florida. It's a miscue from Clemson that gives the Bulls an opportunity. Logaleo just rips this over to first in a rare miscue from the Clemson infield. For the Tigers, that is error number 5 this year. Hanlon skips it to second, tag for 1, throw to first, not in time. Moore trying to turn 2, but they do get the lead runner. Hanlon safe on the fielder's choice for an assisted. That was ruled an E3. It's the first error for Clemson in this game. Drival piece, takes off speed, ball, or rather strike 1. Hanlon is a threat to steal. Has stolen 3 bases this year. And Drival piece swipes that into the dirt, nothing in 2 now. Truly is a rare error on Cagle. He's given South Florida 1-out opportunity. And here comes Hanlon, the throw down to second in time for the out. Second time Hanlon's been caught stealing this season. Vieira flashing the arm strength, and Clemson puts 2 outs away. Well, first they got the lead runner, and now you expect this from South Florida, and you got to be ready for it as a catcher, and this time Clemson is. Drival piece, fly ball, foul ground to the bullpen and up against the fence. Jacobson's got it. So just like that, with a runner on and 1 out in the inning, all of a sudden, Thompson and the Tigers face the minimum. On to the 7th, Clemson with a 4-run lead over South Florida. And a good catch out against the bullpen for Jacobson. Pull a rally. But task number 1 for the Bulls is they got to keep it a 4-run lead for Clemson. First toss to Reedy Davenport. The drop ball pitcher sends in his strike. Antoinette Hill, drop and change are the tools in her box. Beg your pardon, this is not Davenport, this is Ariel Oda. Tigers looking for insurance. They go to the bench. That comes in tight. 2-1. Spikes it out to first. Castro loses it back for Piero. Not in time. Oda reaches for Clemson. Lead off base knock. For Oda, it's her second hit of the season. We'll see if they do score it as a hit. This could also go down as South Florida's fourth error. Squaring a bunt on the first offering. And Mackenzie Clark takes a strike. It is ruled a single. Clark is hitless so far with a walk. Hit 2-0. Or 1-1 rather the count. Screams that into the screen. That's another strike. Clark sends it on a line to right field over Sheehan. She's got it, one away. Well, the on-base streak extended tonight for Mackenzie Clark. Her hit streak of the last two games might come to an end. Megan Sheehan gets the job done out in right. Maddie Moore. One single, one walk, scored 2. Runner takes off, the throw down there. Tribal piece can't apply the glove in time. Ariel Oda picks up a stolen base for the Tigers. It's her second stolen base of the season. The handle of the bat, pulls it down third, 1-2. Rather 0-2 your count. Oh, 2. Outside, and now it's 1-2. Maddie Moore came to this program a top 25 prospect according to Extra Innings. Was number 21 in the Elite 100. 1-2 is golf to third, past a diving Garcia Soto and into left field. Oda goes to third. Moore's got a base knock. It's a multi-hit game for her, her second of the season. So Oda pinch hit for Davenport at the 9 spot. She's now at third. Maddie Moore has a single, and here's Valerie Cagle again. A 2-run shot in the first, and Antoinette Hill in South Florida want nothing to do with her. They will intentionally walk her. So they would rather deal with bases loaded, 1 out, than send anything hittable to Valerie Cagle, and you can't really blame them. One of the best players in the country. Coach Rittman had said, once I saw her swing the bat, I knew she was going to be a special kind of player. She's been that indeed. There's actually a story from Greenville News. Todd Shaughnessy, wrote it. Said she once hit a ball so hard in travel ball, the crowd didn't even cheer. They just went silent because of how hard they saw a 15, 16-year-old hit it. It's not rare that a home run brings a hush over the park. Caroline Jacobson, the righty hitter, is in. And a drop ball finds the zone, 0-1. Ground ball to short. Tribal piece goes the short way to third to get the second down. Meanwhile, a run comes home as Oda crosses, and Clemson tags on another. Make it 5-0 Tigers. Moore retired for the second out of the inning. Cagle to second. Caroline Jacobson gets the RBI on the fielder's choice. Jacobson's 14th ribby this year. Aaliyah Logaleo, a one-run home run in the sixth. The solo shot extending the lead at the time to 4. Clemson 2 runs in the first and then a singular run in innings 5, 6, and 7. Pinch runner will come into second for Clemson. This is Ansley Houston. She will run for Cagle. Flared to short, and that gets past Tribal piece to the feet of Leistel. Around third, Houston is in. And Clemson gets 2 runs in the top of the 7th, and they're up by 6. Jacobson to second, and Logaleo knocks in her second of the night. It's just into no man's land in center, and that's a tough throw for Leistel. Well shallow to Eigenman, the catcher. And easily crosses the pinch runner in for Cagle. So, Cagle's going to re-enter officially for the bookkeeping, and Vieira will be pinch hit for. First offering is a strike. This is Marina Knowles, freshman out of Hawkinsville, Georgia. Coming off a multi-RBI game against Ohio State. Has played in 7 games, now 8 as a freshman off the bench. Wohlward is short, and the routine out 6-3 retires the side. 2 runs in the top of the 7th for Clemson. Some insurance for the Clemson pitching and defense trying to slam the door when we come. Thompson has eyes for a shutout tonight. Clemson up 6-0 as we go to the home 7th. I'm Ryan Urquhart alongside our wonderful ESPN crew tonight. She could wrap this one up with a 2-hitter. It's got to go through the meat of the South Florida order, though. 3, 4, and 5 in the bottom half of the inning. Sheehan on the first pitch, rolls it up at first, and that's an easy out for Cagle. 3 and assisted. Sheehan 0 for 3 tonight, one of their best offensive weapons. And one of the best players in the country gets the routine out. And it's Vivian Pond to the plate. Vieira is back in as the catcher, by the way. And the defensive alignment remains the same as it did from the start. Thompson spins in a strike, 0-1. Millie Thompson in line for what could be her 9th career shutout tonight. She has 6 strikeouts, now stands just 3 shy of 200. The lefty in her junior season at Clemson. 1-1 spirals tight 2-1. And just a 1.58 ERA a season ago. Finished the year with 110 strikeouts. Pond sends it to the air, deep to right field, and that's off the wall. Pond is legging it out for 2, and she'll go in standing up. Third hit of the day for South Florida. 1 out, 2 bagger for Vivian Pond. And the Bulls are in business. First double of the year for Pond. Well, Pond put a good charge into this one out at right center field. This looked like it could have eyes to leave the yard, but instead will have to settle for 2. Hallie Bryant comes in to pinch run. So a silver lining in the 7th for South Florida. Bulls still down mightily by 6. So some speed on the base paths. Hallie Bryant can move pretty quickly. And Lydia Castro comes up, 0 for 2, couple of groundouts. And she swings on the first pitch, gets into this one out at center. Clark is there to grab it. Bryant retreats to second. Clemson 1 out away from the W. Millie Thompson came in, made ACC All-Freshman team. Last year was 3rd team All-ACC. She will be an X factor for the Tigers this year if they're to get to the Women's College World Series. And Piero swings through the first offering. Oh-1 takes it on a ride to right center field, and the bloop shot lands in Jacobson's glove, and that'll do it. Clemson rolls right past South Florida 6-0. A complete game 2-hitter for Millie Thompson. And the Tigers go to 12-0 on this young season. A big thank you to everybody who helped make today's broadcast possible, including our producer, Ibrahim Ayub.